Hi. Today's question is, how do I know a good wine from a bad wine? Well, the first thing, of course, is you do have to taste them, and you make your initial determination that way. But that's kind of what this is all about. Remember way back when I was talking about you have to look at it, you have to smell it, you have to taste it? Well, that's your starting point for good versus bad wine. Now, again, have to have the wine here. You look at it, if it's got stuff floating in it that really shouldn't be there. And I'm not talking just little bits of cork. It's like little guys swimming around. Probably not a good wine. If it smells really, really bad, probably not a good wine. If it tastes really bad, there's a difference there. I mean, I'm talking it really should not taste that way, then yeah, that's a bad wine. Okay, so I mean the obvious you can throw out. Now, beyond that, it's like, okay, well, here's a wine that, there's nothing floating around, it smells pretty good, and it tastes okay. Now, it's an expensive wine, cheap wine, it doesn't matter. Is it a good wine? What makes a good wine is balance. And there's slight differences between red and white, but for the most part, both apply both ways. You want to, in the taste, and I'm going to be talking primarily about taste here, but a little bit of the nose factor as well. You assume that if the wine looks good, that's not that hard to do. Most any wine that you buy in a store, it's commercially made, it's going to look good. It's very rare to find one that actually has stuff in it that shouldn't be there. Again, little swimmer guys. I'm using that metaphorically. I hope there's nothing swimming in your wine. If there is, don't drink it. But anyway, so if it smells pretty good or smells reasonable, smells like you expect it to smell, and tastes like it, that's your starting point. So that's kind of, okay, we're going to go from this point and build from there. Now, if you remember, when we initially talked about tasting, you smell it, then you give it another swirl or two, and then you smell it again. Does it smell different the second time? If it does, that's a good sign. That means there's a more complexity there. If it always smells exactly the same, then it's kind of a monotone, one-dimensional wine. And that's what you're going to find in your less expensive wines too, by the way. Some of the quality wines, the more expensive ones, and I'm not talking huge amounts here. I mean, if you move up from 1-ticket to 2-ticket wines, with the pricing, 1 ticket versus 2 tickets, then 2 tickets should have a little bit more complexity, or a lot more complexity than a 1-ticket table wine. So, third sniff, different again. So what I've got here is fairly decent wine, and I can tell you that this particular one is maybe a little more than 1 ticket in price. So you can find that in less expensive wines as well. So a difference in smell, meaning complexity, that's a good sign towards a good wine. Same type of thing, you taste it. Okay, I taste A, B, and C. Clear your palate a bit, you do another taste. Okay, I'm picking up a little bit different notes there. Okay, so I've got B and C still. A's kind of dropped off. Now I've got D and E to add to the mix. Okay, a little more complexity in the taste. Another sign of a good wine. Okay, so those are some of the basic things there. Are you getting complexity, getting differences? Here's some more for you. Is it in balance other ways? How about the alcohol? Does it burn when you drink it? If you've ever had a really strong shot of whiskey and you slug it down and you feel that burn all the way down, well, that's alcohol burning. It's not the whatever in whiskey that's there beside the alcohol. It's actually alcohol doing that burn. Whiskey is a lot more alcoholic, higher volume or content by volume than wine. If you're getting a burn with wine, it's out of balance. There's something off there. You shouldn't have a big alcohol feel to it or burn in the throat or back of the mouth. Another thing you can do is when you smell it, lift or lower the glass, depending on which way you want to go. If there's a lot of alcohol in there, some people, more so than others, I don't pick it up that much myself, but other people, it's like that difference in height, because of the way the alcohol evaporates, you'll get that one spot, and whoa, there's alcohol there, I can smell it. So if you get that very distinctly, or that's all you smell, then probably out of balance again. Something else you can keep in mind, especially in the reds, is the tannins. If the tannins are too pronounced, too strong, out of balance. If you have too much or too little acid, that can be out of balance. You drink it and all you can taste is the acid tartness. then that's probably a little bit too much. Though some wines are kind of known for that, they're there intentionally. Some of your whites, Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, also Sauvignon Blanc typically is more on the tart side. And there are others too, and they're supposed to be that way. For that reason, I don't care as much for them just to sit and drink, although they can be very refreshing on a hot day. So you have to watch that and keep in mind the type of wine you're drinking. If it's a more sedate red, you shouldn't have a lot of tartness in it. Now, the other side of that, though, if it just tastes kind of flat and kind of not really exciting in your mouth, and this is true of reds as well, then you may not have enough acid. Acid is a very important factor in wine, even though it doesn't necessarily come through as a taste on its own. If it's lacking, that's when you're going to taste it. You're going to taste its absence. That's referred to as a flabby wine. It's like it should have a little bit more kick to it, and it just kind of sits there. Call that flabby. So those are some of the things to look for. A good wine is one that is in balance. A bad wine is, and I'm not talking bad in the sense of you need to throw it away because it's gone sour, like milk, sour milk. This is bad in the sense of not as good, a lesser quality. That would be one that doesn't have the complexity, that doesn't have the balance. Balance is really your big factor. You have the balance of all the parts that make up that wine, the flavor, the acid, the tannins, all these things the alcohol, all these need to come together in just that right level. You bring this one down, you bring this one up, you bring this one over here up, that one over there down. So all these factors are all together at the right level. Not necessarily the same amount, but the right level. They all play together nicely in a sandbox. So that's what you're looking for, balance. When you take that sip, give it a whiff, take the sip, and everything just comes together beautifully. That's what you're looking for. That's your balanced wine. That's a good wine. Doesn't matter the price. What matters is the balance. So I hope you learned something from that. And if you did, you know what to do by now. So glad you could join me, and cheers.